At LHTC Broadband, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. We're your local choice for TV, phone, and internet. We offer high-quality cable TV service with HD, multi-room DVR, on-demand, and watch TV everywhere. Plus unlimited calling, and our internet is faster than ever with speeds up to 1 gigabyte. With no contracts and local customer service, switching has never been easier. Call today, 724-593-2411, or visit lhtcbroadband.com.
At Saint Vincent College, we learn, we listen, we explore, and we rise together. Here you'll discover a community that is ready to help you pursue your goals and prepare you for success. It's why 99% of the class of 2018 was either employed or furthering their education within 1 year of graduating. Schedule a virtual visit now to talk with one of our admission counselors and learn more about the Saint Vincent experience at stvincent.edu/visit.
Good morning, everyone. This is Heritage Happenings. My name is Jared Bundy, and I'm your interim host of Heritage Happenings here on 97.3 Light FM, 1480 WCNS, and online at 973lightfm.com. Heritage Happenings is also available as a podcast the week following the show by searching for Laurel Highlands Happenings on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Listen to all episodes for free online at laurelhighlands.org/podcast. Be sure to follow Westmoreland Heritage's website and social media for updates on cultural and historic events throughout Westmoreland County. Our sponsor today is Saint Vincent College. Thanks for supporting Heritage Happenings and making this broadcast possible. Now today on Heritage Happenings, when we think about our county moving from yellow and recovery starting to begin in our region, our thoughts move to preservation of this historic time period. And luckily, our residents in Westmoreland County, including two of our guests today, are very much already on the case. With that, let me introduce our first guest today, Pam Curtin. Pam Curtin is the Education Coordinator at the Westmoreland Historical Society in historic Hannastown, where she oversees programs and events, manages outreach and social media, and assists with exhibit development. She received her MA in Public History from West Virginia University and her BA in History from Saint Vincent College, where she is now a lecturer in the History Department. Pam, thanks for joining me today.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. So let's get right into it. Can you talk about Pandemic 2020 and exactly what this project is?
Sure. So the Pandemic 2020 project is a digital archive project through Saint Vincent College's History Department and the Westmoreland Historical Society. So what this project is trying to do is help document the experiences of people in Westmoreland County or connected to Westmoreland County in some way through stories, videos, photographs, and recollections of the time. Mm-hmm. And we're using a website. So the way that people can submit their stories and their recollections of this event is through a website that we have developed, and it's a digital platform that's specifically created for digital collecting and exhibiting these kinds of stories.
That's excellent. So who all was involved in this project?
Sure. So this was originally the idea of Dr. Karen Kehoe from Saint Vincent College, along with Lauren Churilla, who you'll hear from later. And they connected with me. I'm also a lecturer in the History Department at Saint Vincent, but also the Education Coordinator at the Westmoreland Historical Society. So it was a natural partnership between the two of us. Saint Vincent has the expertise of their professors and connections with the students at the school who can help support the project. And then at the Historical Society, our mission is focused on documenting, preserving, and sharing the history of Westmoreland County. And so it was a natural pairing between the two of us.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense of using all of your resources there, and it's great to see so many organizations working together to achieve a common goal like this. So,
absolutely.
And you said students are involved as well. What kind of role are they going to have in this project?
Sure. So St. Vincent's History Department, as well as their new Public History Department, are really focused on not only teaching students about history, but also the skills that they would need for conducting research and doing projects like this one, digital projects, exhibits, interpretation, those sorts of things. And so right now, since we're just at the beginning of the project, what we have a number of students doing is contributing to the archive. So they're documenting their own personal experiences as college students. One thing that, we're really encouraging with this project is for people to really share personal stories. That really enriches the kinds of stories that we have, and then that will be something that, in the future will really be important. So we're looking to get, the personal stories of students, and they're helping us with that at this point. And down the line, we're hoping that maybe students would be able to help us with maintaining the website. There's a lot of things behind the scenes, like the metadata that we have to take care of, as well as things like digital exhibits that eventually can be something that we put on the front end of the website as well.
Wow, a ton of involvement across the student body there. It seems like a really good hands-on experience for students to be involved with, especially if they have any sort of interest in history. Yes, for sure. So what would you say are the goals of this project overall? Sure. So the project has a number of goals. So one is really documenting the experiences of people during the pandemic. So these can be, stories of, their experiences with their work, with school, whether they're a student or a teacher, how their lives have changed if they are no longer working, or if they are considered an essential employee, how their work has changed. We're looking for images as well, so images of stores that are closed, or people working together, people that are persevering during this time, even with all of the challenges, even things like artwork, creative writing, recipes, those sorts of things can all be contributed to the archive. And all of this is meant to really create, or to help document something that has a real personal connection. So with something like a pandemic that's not only state and national, but an entire global experience, it can be easy for us to kind of get lost in all of these numbers and these really abstract ideas that can be hard to understand. How is it affecting people, on an individual level or on a community level? And so that's where, trying to collect some of these stories is helpful. And the further we get away from an event in history, the harder it can actually be to collect objects and collect stories. And so that's why we're really trying to make the effort now, because this is very present to people, and we can kind of reach them during this time. And it can actually be perhaps something that could, even with all of the challenges that are going on, if this can provide people with, something that's a little bit therapeutic to be able to contribute something, to feel like it's making a difference in some way, that absolutely matters to us as well. That makes a ton of sense. And I know the Laurel Highlands, by extension, Westmoreland Heritage, has been collecting these stories and photos and, some of the feel-good things. So we can look back and remember how our communities came together and, made hand sanitizer, delivered meals to our frontline workers and things like that. So I think that's incredibly important to preserve and be able to show, like, hey, this is exactly what our counties, our communities were able to come together and do.
Absolutely, yes. We're open to a variety of experiences. So we're not really limiting based on any sort of group of people or specific topic. We are looking for documenting the breadth of different experiences that people have had. And we already have had a number of people who have contributed things. So, for example, we've had students from Saint Vincent who have talked about how they had to move out of their dorms mid-semester. We have images of signs that are posted on different businesses that are explaining, not only their processes for being closed and potentially reopening, but also, sharing messages that we will be open again sometime soon. We had someone recently who shared a photograph of someone's 90th birthday, and everybody that was there, they had their face masks on. And so these are all experiences that we're interested in preserving for the future.
For sure, and I saw that 90th birthday story, and that was like such a feel-good moment, and it makes you realize there's a lot of things going on that are benefiting the community, ways people are making the best of it, from online graduations or Zoom meeting birthday parties and things like that, a way people were still able to just kind of roll with this as it's happened and still do amazing things. So I love that you're collecting such a breadth of stories from, business to very personal. I guess my next question is, why do you think this is important to preserve right now? You seem to have been on this very quickly. I don't know of many other organizations that have this sort of history mindset of preserving everything coming out during the pandemic. Why do you think this is important to do right now?
Sure. Yeah. So this project kind of reflects some other projects that have happened in the past. Sometimes this idea is referred to as rapid response collecting or history harvest. So this is the Pandemic 2020 project is reflective of other projects that have been done nationally, internationally, related even to other events that have happened. I think there's more of an effort, particularly with museums and historians, to try to collect things as they happen. Again, because the further we get away from an event, the easier it is for objects to get lost, for us to miss the opportunity to take photographs of something, or to maybe forget some of the day-to-day details of what something was like. And so there has been an effort within the public history community to really try to document more history as it happens. And we have seen that other museums, historical societies, universities around the country and around the world are starting to make an effort to try to document the pandemic, because it is really something that's quite unprecedented. And we know of other pandemics in the past that have happened that we have images of and stories of, and we know how valuable those recollections and objects are. And we're hoping to be able to create something like that so that 20, 50, 100 years from now, we're able to have these kinds of resources to refer back to. Because again, this is, although this is unprecedented, certainly for our lifetimes, things like this have happened in the past, and this will become part of history someday. And so we do really want to make the effort to try to document it now.
I think you're doing a fantastic job. And your last sentence there sort of reminded me of my next question. How do you think people will look back in 50 or 100 years at Westmoreland County and looking at these documents and kind of come to a conclusion about how we handled ourselves during this pandemic?
Sure, yes. And we are hoping that as we do collect more stories, more images, and more resources through the archive, that we are able to paint this broader picture of what these experiences were like. And I think as the story is still unfolding, and it will be interesting to see how we'll reflect back on this time. But I think we'll certainly see a lot of people really even as businesses and places have been closed, we've seen people that have, really made an effort to continue that sense of community and to see that we will come out the other side of this, and I think that's something that people will take away from this time, that even though it is really challenging, and we'll want to certainly remember all of the challenges and struggles that people have gone through, we will also see that there was a lot of people coming together and trying to support one another too.
Absolutely. And, I couldn't have really said any better. And let's leave that on a high note. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today and, sharing your story about Pandemic 2020 and the important work that you and Saint Vincent College and all of your contributors are doing. So let's end with showing where we can find Pandemic 2020 and how we can contribute to the project.
Absolutely. So you can visit our website, which is www.pandemic2020svc.omeka, which is spelled OMEKA.net. And again, Omeka is this really great website that allows us to collect and exhibit objects. So once you submit, whether it's a story, a photograph, a video, any other kind of item that you're interested in submitting, we'll receive it, and then we'll have the chance to approve it and then put it up on the website. And if you have any other questions or you're not really sure what exactly you could submit, we do have an About page that provides a list of different things that you can contribute. And you're also certainly welcome to reach out to us and ask us any questions. We're very open to having, to working with you to, help preserve and share your story.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Pam. I really appreciate your time today.
All right. Thank you so much.
Someone else involved in the Pandemic 2020 project is Lauren Churilla, our next guest today, where she's joining us to discuss not only her involvement, but everything that Saint Vincent is doing as we begin to reopen. Lauren Churilla practices public history at Saint Vincent College in Latrobe, PA, as the curator and director of the Foster Muriel McCarl Coverlet Gallery. She teaches several courses in public history and has lectured within the college's Department of History since 2013. Ms. Churilla's publications focus on issues of social movements, women in politics, local history, and material culture. And her current research explores street harassment and self-defense in progressive-era Pittsburgh. Lauren, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Jared. I'm excited to be on today.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here. Now, listen, you are all set for spring. You had a lot of exciting exhibits planned. You're ready to launch a brand new exhibit at the gallery, and a global pandemic breaks out. What did you do next?
Yeah, such is life, isn't it? So we've had quite a few changes, too. So it's been really interesting because we've had to kind of go through and reevaluate, and one thing we're doing right now is currently trying to reevaluate what we can do to bring out new and exciting content, information, education for people while doing it in a safe way. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned we did have a new and exciting exhibit that was supposed to be opening in the next month here too, and that is on hold for right now. So what we're doing is shifting our exhibition schedule. So we were going to be putting up an exhibit that was going to commemorate the centennial of the women's 19th Amendment, the women's women's voting rights. I can totally speak today, yay! But we haven't been able to really coordinate with partners or have any kind of hands-on object exchanges. So we're putting that on hold till next year, but that doesn't mean that we don't have a lot of other exciting things on the books. So I guess one of the first things that we did, unfortunately, the physicality of our space is closed, and we have to close our current exhibit early. So what we tried to do was migrate it online as best as possible. So the current exhibit we have up is Technological Textiles, and what it does, it looks at the interface between computing history and textile design, which goes back way further than a lot of people realize. And so we were able to put that up in a digital format. So we're really excited about that. And that will be up. We want to make sure that people get enough time to come in and see that. And we're going to be looking at creating more digital content until a time when we can safely open up our space again.
Excellent. I just think that's amazing to share that story, because you were able to pivot so quickly for such a small organization from having a physical space to a completely digital exhibit that people could go and browse through, create their own art, and do other fun things that we'll talk about here as we get into it. But yes, one of the things that stood out to me in the textiles exhibit was how far back this went, all the way to the 1800s.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing, and it kind of it's one of the core parts of our collection that I don't think a lot of people realize is that when you go and you look at 18th and 19th century textiles, you don't immediately think computing. But the technology that's used to create the coverlets themselves in our exhibit space, it's the Jacquard loom. And Jacquard is using punch cards to program his loom in order to create design. So it's really early graphic design. So what we're trying to do is really trace the history of computing and graphic design, which dates back even earlier than Jacquard. Jacquard did not invent punch cards, but back to Jacquard creates his loom the early 1800s. So 1801, he filed his first application for the patent in the late 1700s, which is just absolutely amazing to me.
Wow. Yeah, it's amazing how far that dates back with punch cards and how that technology would, become computers and everything that we, use every day that are allowing us to do things like digital exhibits. So I just think it's amazing to see a lot of the seeds and groundwork being laid right there. So what is the importance of this exhibit?
Okay. So I think that one of the really important features of this exhibit was to really look at how objects in the past paved the way for our technology today, and how we can make connections to the things that we use every day. Like right now, we're using our phones and our own computers to create this program, and we don't usually think about how far back that goes or the work that people did to get us to the place we are today. For me personally, one of the most important parts of our exhibit, we have a portion on a woman named Ada Lovelace. And Ada Lovelace, she worked with Charles Babbage, who made the first calculating machines, which has been later used by the Census Bureau and then evolved into IBM and computing history. But we don't think about women and technology and the impact that a lot of women had in the past. And Ada Lovelace is probably not a super well-known story. She's much better known today than she was probably about 30 years ago. But it was her work with algorithms and Babbage's invention that literally laid the groundwork for the development of computers as we know it. So I think that it's really important to pull out not just the history of the past in computing, but the contributions of people who we don't traditionally think about as working in these fields, women, minorities, things like that. So that for me is probably the most important part.
No, that makes a ton of sense, and that's not a super well-known name, and it should be. I know my dad used to teach a computing course at Saint Vincent, and he would always lecture about like Grace Hopper and people like that. So it's amazing the contributions that women made to this field, and very, very early on that were integral to the success. Like Hidden Figures, the film that captures how important women were to the space program and all of that. And I'm glad to see that these stories are being told, through film, through exhibits, and through the research that you're doing.
Thank you.
So something I had a lot of fun doing with your virtual exhibit was creating glitch art. Can we talk about that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. So this is where I'm going to sidebar just real quick, too. This exhibit was meant to be a counterpart to the opening of Saint Vincent's new art gallery, which also has been postponed due to the closures, but we're looking forward to that happening. And the art gallery works a lot with, or is going to be showing the work and featuring the work of an artist named Roman Verotsko, who does algorithmic art. Coverlets are also algorithmic art. So what we tried to do was take on a piece of that in textiles, but look at what kind of computer-generated art is happening today, and that emerges in glitch art. And what glitch art is, it's this really, really fantastic mode of production where people are taking either old devices like cameras, computers, and forcing them, if you think of a glitch, forcing them to glitch and seeing what kind of images can be produced. You could also do this with algorithms, too, and there's this really cool tool. I know, Jared, you were playing around with it on our website, too, that I found. It's an open-source software that allows you to create your own glitch art, so it uses algorithms, and the beautiful thing about it is you never know what you're going to get. So a lot of the people who are artists working chart, it's not like you're sitting down and painting, you have an idea in your head what the final product is going to be. It can be completely random, and the computer is as much a part of the process, and many people consider it an artist in itself, too, a collaborator, and you get these really cool images and products at the end. So it's a neat tool. I know that you did a falling water one, didn't you?
Yes, I had a lot of fun playing around with that in falling water, and I have more to come. And, it's free. You can just drop a photo in there and start editing, and there's a bunch of sliders. I'm far from an artist, so it makes it super easy to just drop in, throw in a cool photo, and then, make really amazing art that, you would think was an error popping up on your screen, but, looks really amazing when you isolate it.
Yeah, it's so cool. So that's online, so if anybody wants to go check that out, we'd love to see your pictures if you want to tag it to our page, too. Yes,
please, use Westmoreland Heritage-esque photos or St. Vincent photos. We'd love to see what you come up with. That would be a ton of fun to feature a bunch of those from people listening today.
Yeah, it would be really cool.
So, how do we enjoy Technological Textiles as an exhibit now?
So we were able to convert it to a digital platform. Obviously, it does not have the same kind of feel as a tactile place where you can go in and touch things. But if you go to the McCarl Gallery website, which is www.mccarlgallery.org, you will be able to click right from our homepage a link to the digital exhibit. So you'll see labels, you'll see photos from the exhibit, you'll see objects incorporated, and then, of course, the glitch art feature is also in there near the end. So it's really easy to find. It's really easy to navigate. And we hope that you'll be able to go and enjoy that there.
Thanks so much. And Lauren, unfortunately, we're running out of time, but it was excellent speaking to you. How do we find out more about what you're up to, your research, and more of your efforts with the Coverlet Gallery?
All right. So you can find us on a couple different platforms. I'll be honest with you, I am probably most active on Facebook and our website. So you can check out our website, like I said, www.mccarlgallery.org. We also have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter account. I won't lie and say I update it all the time. I know I need to, but not so much. But we can find us on all those platforms and Pinterest. But those are the best places to go find what we're doing. We're in the process of putting forward some new ideas for new digital content, and you can also give us feedback there of some things that you would like to see. If there's something that you're interested in us doing, we're happy to have a conversation with you too.
Excellent. Lauren, thank you so much for your time today, and we appreciate you sharing all of your expertise with us, as always.
Thank you for having me. So I hope everyone stays safe.
Thank you. You too, and see you again soon.
All right.
This has been Heritage Happenings, sponsored by Saint Vincent College. Be sure to follow Westmoreland Heritage online and find this show as a podcast on iTunes, iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll be back with a new guest, more history, and more stories next month on Heritage Happenings.
At Saint Vincent College, we learn, we listen, we explore, and we rise together. Here you'll discover a community that is ready to help you pursue your goals and prepare you for success. It's why 99% of the class of 2018 was either employed or furthering their education within 1 year of graduating. Schedule a virtual visit now to talk with one of our admission counselors and learn more about the Saint Vincent experience at stvincent.edu/visit.
At LHTC Broadband, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. We're your local choice for TV, phone, and internet. We offer high-quality cable TV service with HD, multi-room DVR, on-demand, and watch TV everywhere. Plus unlimited calling, and our internet is faster than ever with speeds up to 1 gigabyte. With no contracts and local customer service, switching has never been easier. Call today, 724-593-2411, or visit lhtcbroadband.com.